Alrighty guys, we are back with our next PvP game. Again, we will see MGG Alpha here as our Red Protoss up against Namakaye. Is that his name?
I'm not quite sure.
I think we're going to go with that one. Good luck, have fun. I am joined here by Michael. Michael, you're a Protoss player,
yes,
are you as well?
Protoss.
Well, I think we saw one of your games earlier on.
I have
actually.
I've versed both of these people before. I've versed Nama, whatever it is, on ladder a few times a long time ago, and I've destroyed Alpha twice at the last two lands.
He was actually, he was saying earlier that he was a little bit afraid of versing you.
Yeah.
In the next game, I assume he's assuming he's going to win this set here.
This, then I'm up against him. But I've been sitting next to him, and I already know how to beat him.
You just got to watch out for his double Stargate play. That's what I've been telling all the kids.
I won't let the game get that far.
Oh, I see. I see.
I've never let it get that far.
So we'll have a look here. We have Namakaye. Obviously, he's going to throw down a gateway here, and a gateway going down for Alpha. Relatively simple. Nothing silly from Alpha this game. He hasn't hit his pylon up in the back behind his natural, which he does have a habit of doing. For a bit of a joke, I think, to try and bait a couple of extra buildings out of his opponents. Seen a lot of PvP games here today as well, so he should be getting used to it by now. Do you know, would have you played Namakaye before?
Not for quite a while. I used to play him a few times on the Wings of Liberty ladder on C, but since then I haven't played him.
All right, so we got a simulator finishing up there, has finished, and 3 workers on each. Gateway's going to come out, and assume we'll be seeing a cyber core here from Alpha shortly.
Yeah, so the next thing we've got to look out for is if we're going to see a second gas from either player. This can determine if they're going to expand, all in, or if they're going tech.
So we see Alpha going to pick up his second gas, and again he's going to pick up the second gas of his opponent. He does seem to enjoy doing that one. He's done that a couple of times today as well.
Now, Namakaye is getting the Zealot. I'm not a big fan of the Zealot because I can see I prefer investing the minerals into something else, whereas the Zealot, it's not. But the only reason he's getting it now is because Alpha's taken his gas.
So you're spending 100 minerals to get rid of 75, basically.
Yeah, but you've actually got to get it, because otherwise it takes the Stalker half a year to actually take down the assimilator.
You know, in contrast, Alpha is going to be heading out here, and he's got, by looks of things, Stalker first. He hasn't said anything else out there. There
are two good follow-ups here for Namakaye since his gas was taken. That's either to just drop down a Nexus or go 4-gate. That's the only two responses I've ever seen.
So Alpha chucking up this pylon up the back. We may be seeing something interesting from him. He hasn't dropped down another gateway. There we go. Going to see our Twilight. That could either be Blink play or DTs, perhaps.
Yes, I saw his plays again.
He's got the probe hiding up the back again. It's exactly the same thing we saw from him last game. Once he gets that probe in the base and it doesn't get scouted, he almost can't resist going Dark Templars, I believe. So.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be watching out for this if he makes it through.
So obviously that probe still hiding. Not sure if Namakaye is going to send there we go. Now it will find this out. No, there we go. Takes him out. Twilight Council is now finished. Second gateway going to come down as Alpha keeps throwing out Stalkers here in towards the middle of the map. Namakaye going to push down, just check the rest of his base. What's he going to do? Probably expand here, or is it too late for that? He's got a Robo up the back, so...
I think Namakaye is definitely going to be expanding here after doing just... I think he's just going to go do Warp Prism Harass. Oh, I think... Oh, and he's going to get it for the security of DTs.
Which is smart, especially when that probe is up the back there, and we have seen him do it before. Have seen Alpha. There's that Dark Shrine. So Dark Shrine almost going to be wasted, as we see 2 observers. So he's being very, very careful here.
Yeah, so he's probably going to send one for scouting and then leave one at home for defense.
Which is a very smart play. So obviously with that pylon in the base that Alpha put in earlier, or not the pylon but the probe even being destroyed, he's forced into putting down his forward pylon a little bit further out there as heading in, and he's going to expand as well. So it's just a relatively even game, although
it's very good that Alpha's expanding behind this, because as we can see, it's not going to do very much damage at all.
No, it's not. He would have been in a little bit of trouble had he tried to all in there with Dark Templars, but he realised once perhaps that that probe got discovered. He will send in DTs, and he will lose one, and the other one is going to run away back up towards this pylon. So we'll suspect this pylon will be discovered as well, and that's going to be the end of this Dark Templar push. The observer coming along with them, and that's all going to go down. So not the best of starts for Alpha, but certainly something that he can come back from. We'll see. He's going to go into a Robo as well and a Stargate, so he's going all sides. He perhaps wants to get an observer out, which he does, maybe to clear out his opponent's observers.
Yeah, that and scouting again.
Alright, so workers here being transferred. 10 workers on this base. We see them heading on over there as a few zealots do get sent out. No forward pylon from either player at the moment.
No, I don't see Namakaye reacting very properly against seeing a Stargate. He's building... He's got a Robo, that's about it. No blink on the way or anything.
And he has seen it as well.
Yes, he has seen it.
So
he's not going to be prepared for the Phoenix coming in now.
He is going to grab both of those gas on that side. Let's have a look at these. He decides that his response will be 2 Stargate of his own. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, when both players start building Phoenix, you can't actually build anything else other than just try and out Phoenix your opponent, as nothing else really counters it.
So the counter to Phoenix is Phoenix?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Pretty much. And we will see Alpha will be continuing to build Phoenixes here. Nothing particularly strange from him at the moment, and Namakaye just knows. We'll have to see what his reaction will be. Obviously, he's got these double Stargates down here. He's got all this gas starting to build up. 400 gas, which is all of a sudden disappeared as he queues up 4 Phoenix in total. An observer here from Alpha is going to come around through the back, and he will be spotting this double Stargate, so he will know that that is what his opponent is doing as well. So you're just trying to play it safe, both players just trying to...
Namakaye is definitely ahead in economy though. He's also almost 20 supply ahead. So he could definitely do something with that.
He could. You see, Alpha is actually... He was ahead, I thought, in probes, but I guess not anymore. He's falling behind there. He's falling behind in all aspects, but we'll see what's going to go on here. There's a few stalkers. We might see a bit of an early confrontation as these Phoenix may or may not push out. He's got the observer. He can see the Phoenixes from his opponent, and Namakaye building a lot of Phoenixes. And
one thing I'm surprised is that neither players are going for +1 attacks on the Phoenix. That can make a huge difference in an even battle, considering they're both going double Stargate.
Are we talking as in range, +1 range, or +1 attack damage?
That and damage. I wasn't thinking of that.
So the Phoenixes will come in, and they will see each other here. Alpha got a few shots off. He might bring down 1 or 2 Phoenixes.
Yeah, so even being 1 Phoenix ahead, it'll just spiral out of control. If they go on a front-on confrontation, it won't even be close.
You see Namakaye actually going to pull back the rest of his forward army here as these Phoenixes of Alpha do start taking a little bit of control of the map. He's going to go in and grab a third here, trying to grab himself an advantage if he can get this one done and underway. Though straight away, Namakaye spots it straight away.
It doesn't really matter that he spots it, because Alpha won that small engagement. It basically just gives him map control because he knows ahead in Phoenix production.
Phoenix is here. We'll see them, and they will fly away. So he doesn't necessarily want to get into that battle. He doesn't want to lose too many Phoenixes, perhaps trying to save them for a future battle.
Yeah.
As he wants to keep that expansion even secure. So
Namakaye is definitely taking the right response as well and just getting his own third.
See that going down a couple of pylons, and throw everything in. So going to scout down there. There is nothing at this third actually of alphas for Namakaye to actually do anything with.
I'm very surprised now that even though Namakaye is ahead in supply, that he's taking ahead in the pro production. 61 to 54.
He is. It's true that the probes of our red Protoss play Alpha are ahead. So if we can have a look at economy, let's have a look at resources. Let's have a look there. See there, he's pulling.
Yeah, wow. That's because Alpha's probably running out in his main, and he was transferring.
We'll go to income even, and you'll see there.
Yeah.
It's our red Protoss player is ahead quite considerably. You know, 50% more minerals coming in, and you can say the same for gas as well. Obviously, his third just coming up now, but both of them do have probes in the third. Phoenixes here will do a bit of probe harass, but so many Phoenixes from both sides here.
Oh, wow.
Alpha's going to want to get away just from these Stalkers, and he does, but that didn't seem like an ideal trade for him.
Have either players got upgrade on their Phoenix yet in attack and defense?
Let's have a look at our upgrades. Move through there, you'll see that Protoss Air levels 1 and Pulse Crystal, is that the extended range?
Yeah. I think in this case the attack's gonna be much more helpful as long as Alpha doesn't get in that 2 range where he can be out microed.
So there we go. We'll see if these Phoenixes, they will get into another battle here.
So in this case, Namakaye is definitely favoured because he's got the +1 attack.
And you can see they're left with only 5 Phoenixes. While over here we have a look at our units. You see, what do we got? 11 Phoenixes versus 7 now. So just starting to pull further and further ahead there of the Phoenixes. And the same with supply. You can see 150 supply up against 120 here. So as that third does start to take a hold, even though he's a little bit behind on the probe count, he's still ahead in the game.
I think Alpha's got to start transitioning into something else and just build static defense against the Phoenix, because he's been, now that he's got 4 Stargates, he can now produce it. But he's got to do something with his economy advantage. Even though Namakaye is ahead in supply, Alpha's got the lead in economy.
He does have quite a considerable economic lead at the moment, and with those 4 Stargates, as you said, he's going to be able,
caught up.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. 17 to 16 Phoenixes now, and Alpha's actually got a Void Ray in there as well. So he's building another Void Ray there.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at our production tab. Protoss Air Weapons Level 2 are going to come out, and Air Armor. So this is really an air versus air game. Whoever wins out of the sky will perhaps get the advantage. You see this 4th now going to go down. This is is he trying to force the point? That's he's going to have to defend this. Obviously, he can't put a 4th out there. Look at that. These probes will actually get destroyed unless he comes through, and he will come through with Phoenixes now. And here's this Phoenix versus Phoenix battle. We have a look at our numbers, have a look at our units, and Phoenixes on either side. 7 on 7 at the moment, and both losing about 2/3 of their...
And they've both got even upgrades now, so it was a fairly even fight.
Again, he's going to look at his... Now he's caught up in terms of food.
Yeah.
Alpha has, our red Protoss player,
and a lot of supply from Namakaye. There's 15 Zealots compared to 1, so 83 probes to 66. So Alpha's definitely got the advantage now with a 4th base and so much econ advantage.
We can see the army of Namakaye just starting to push out now. He feels he probably needs to do something, get rid of this 4th perhaps, or take a 4th of his own.
So Alpha needs to stop focusing on economy now and just basically build units. Void Rays are a good choice, but there's nothing on the ground to tank as well, so he's got to be careful about that.
So Namakaye going to push out here with his army whilst taking a 4th, so you don't see too many PvP battles, certainly not previously up until Heart of the Swarm, where they're going to go out to 4 bases.
No, definitely not.
4 bases aside, so this should be pretty interesting. And relatively even as well in terms of supply, just back and forward as each side warps in units. We might see an encounter here. Namakaye pushing through. There are a lot of units here, and will he cast anything on his Nexus? Not going to do that one. We'll watch this battle here.
The Archons need to be focusing on the Void Rays.
The Photon Overcharge is going to go down on that Nexus. Void Rays taking out the majority of this army. Alpha seems to be losing in terms of supply, but he seems to be almost ahead in this battle. But Zealot's here now in the base. Things turn around. That Nexus is going to go down, and he is going to lose his force. That's going to be a little bit disappointing. At the same time, Namakaye has actually pulled up and taken his force. So
so even though Alpha dominated in the sky, he just didn't have enough to hold off to keep the 4th alive, because it was just like too many Zealots. Now Alpha's transitioning into carriers. This is good because they're going into much further late game. Phoenix aren't as good. We saw them. They won't work against holding off all the Zealots like we saw then. And as it's much better choice than Tempest, because Namakaye doesn't have any carriers or Tempest themselves.
So what you're saying is carriers is a better option up to the point that the Sky's full of carriers.
Yeah, and until as Tempest are only good at do the extra damage versus massive flying armored. So the only thing that they do the extra damage to is other the Tempest themselves and carriers. So if Namakaye starts building Tempest now, then he'll do very good. But until then, Alpha's going to take the lead here.
Right now, Namakaye's actually not building very much at all. This battle is going to go down here.
He also has no detection on those DTs.
Which is the reason he's going to have to flee. I guess that is the risk you take when you decide to fight your battle over the top of some photon cannons. Sooner or later you may find yourself losing your observers and having to rebuild them, so he's going to have to be careful there. Obviously his 4th is well underway now, but Alpha has pulled out a 30 supply advantage here, and he is starting to build up quite a sizable carrier force here. He does have 4.
I'm not quite sure on why Namakaye is still building Phoenix, because it's not going to do any good against the carriers.
And here we do see a Tempest coming in as well, so Alpha's starting to get a very large lead in terms of supply, in terms of air superiority. We do see, I think this is a bit of a last hurrah here from Namakaye. I think the next battle we do see maybe the end of him.
Yeah, it definitely will be. The only way Namakaye can start getting back into this game is if he starts doing what he did then with the Zealots, but all over the map, down the south and in the north with warp prisms, and just to slow down Alpha while he builds up his own air fleet. But he's not doing it, so it's not looking good at all for Namakaye right now.
We go and have a look at our production. We see 2 more Tempests coming out here for Alpha. With the Protoss Air Armor level 2s coming out as well.
Alpha's only just starting to scout down there now with the Observer near the main base. He doesn't know what Namakaye has, so I think he might have been scared that if Namakaye started making some Tempest against the carriers, that's the reason he's building Tempest himself. But
this huge force here, is there any? I don't think there's any detection in here. These DTs they're going to have to pull away all these all the Stalkers, because otherwise the DTs are just going to rip into them with those Zealots. This Air Force obviously superior as well, so there's no point leaving in your Phoenixes and pulling away all your Stalkers. So Namakaye's going to have to do something. You can see that Alpha is maxed now, so he's just going in, he's getting all these upgrades. He's just sort of filling out his army here. He's actually gone down. He's got 5 bases up against 4, and the 5th now just coming in for Namakaye as well. So
Alpha should also try and get rid of any of these Zealots and Stalkers, because they become useless now, where carriers would be much more effective.
So you're suggesting he just gets rid of the supply? Would it be? I guess the DTs are still useful up to the point there's detection, and then you can morph them into Archons should you need to. But I don't think there's any detection here. He could possibly. Yeah, there's not much that can be done. These DT's going to rip into the Stalkers. which means the Stalkers cannot get underneath the carriers as they keep having to go back and back and back and back and back. Finally, they're going to get the best of the Dark Templars. Obviously, some protection in there. As you say, by now it is too late. These Tempests are just going to rip into them, and Stalker's actually going to come in from the back here for Alpha, and he's going to take Namakaye down to 70 supply. So I think this is going to be the end of this game. Alpha out macroing, I suppose, and
yeah,
building a better army.
Alpha's been ahead in the probably all game long. Namakaye didn't use his advantage of the 0 damage done with the DTs. He should have put some pressure on after that, and it eventually just cost him the game.
Awesome. So that is game 1 of our best of 3 series in our losers bracket. Going to go to MGG Alpha. We'll be back for our second game in this PvP very, very shortly to see who's going to win the best of 3. Alrighty guys, we're going to head on into our second game of this best of 3 between our 2 Protoss players in the red, MGG Alpha versus Namakaye up in the top right here. With me again, we do have our Protoss player, Michael.
Zormentor.
We're going to do cool names now. We're going to do cool names, and that was a pretty interesting game. It was actually pretty even as well. One of the more even games we've seen. Obviously, Alpha was pretty much ahead most of the game, but it still played out relatively evenly until the end.
Yeah, not transitioning out of the Phoenix, and Alpha making the right transition moves cost Namakaye the game. Now, Cloud Kingdom, notorious for the blinker lens. Alpha's done it a few times today, I've seen, so I'm not surprised if he goes ahead and does it again now. So we'll see. Have to see what happens.
See what he can do. So Alpha going to go with the usual. Nothing silly from him this game. I know we say that a lot, but I watched a fair few games of his today, and he's tried some crazy stuff. So going to go.
He's also checking for the cheese in this base. I actually tried to do a 2-gate today on this map. And completely forgot that you can't place buildings on the high ground as I place my pylon on the low ground.
That's not ideal. That's a change, is it? From what
it's a change from Wings of Liberty. You can't, if you got a pylon on the low ground, you can't build or warp units on the high ground to just prevent those sort of cheeses. And
I think it would have been especially annoying with the Protoss Mothership Core, which is that early site that you can get out there. You know, you don't have to invest in like a Void Ray or a Phoenix to get that site.
That's basically it, yeah.
So going to see that the gateway is going to finish up here for Namakaye. He's going to go out and he's going to grab his Cybernetics Core, and Alpha in and steals.
I think Namakaye should have been a bit more on top of that as it happened last game. He should have gone and built it a bit earlier, or just kept a probe there to stop Alpha from doing it.
It is 75 minerals that you don't necessarily want to throw away, but
it can throw out a lot of builds for Namakaye though. He can't go in to do tech all-ins. They won't be as effective. He just has to try and use that Alpha's wasted 75 to his advantage by macroing behind it. Yeah,
so it sort of it limits the builds that Namakaye can actually go out and do, and it secures.
Namakaye also has a idle probe sitting there next to his pylon. I wonder how long that will go for.
Lazy worker, get back to work.
Yeah.
So he's got out this Zealot as he did last game. As you said, needs that to get rid of the assimilator early on. We see a Stalker is going to come out here first for Alpha. No Zealot for him. We assume he does not. You know, if you can avoid the Zealot, a lot of players do avoid the Zealot.
Yeah, it can depend. It's all about reading your opponent's chrono boost in those cases. If someone has used all their Chrono Boost on probes, you can try and push with a Zealot, as they don't have as many units out. You just have to try, and it's based on those decisions.
Alright, so we see that gas finally being able to be taken here. Going to follow that up with 2 gateways and
definitely
a Twilight Council.
So as soon as Alpha gets that 150 minerals... Oh no!
Is he going to drop a dark shrine off the back here, or... I was just waiting for it.
Yeah, so I think Namakaye thinks that Alpha's going to go for Blink. And if he can get out basically 1 or 2 DTs, 1 in the main and then 1 to defend, then he can beat the DTs. But Alpha's going for a Robo, surprisingly, so...
It's kind of the opposite of the last game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what Alpha plans to do here, if he's just scared of the DTs, or he wants to apply pressure with it. He could also be scared of Blink or Lens as well, so the Robo counters that with the Immortal and the Observer.
You see the Immortal will be coming out. He's got the Chrono Boost on it. The Immortal was waiting, but he was capped, so he decides to cancel the Immortal and build another Observer in the meantime, since he did not have that supply, which is a bit of a pain for him. But I'm
a bit surprised that Alpha's stopped this probe production. They're both sitting on 24. So this is going to be the exact opposite of last game. The DTs aren't going to do any damage to Alpha, and he's going to expand behind it. But is Namakaye going to expand as well? That's the question.
Well, that is the difference, because there we go. The expansion is going to come out.
So Alpha's already seen all the DTs.
They ran right underneath that Observer there, so that's going to be handy for him.
Yep.
Fortunately, he did build that other Observer when he was supply blocked earlier. He's supply blocked again, and that Immortal's just waiting to start as that Pollen does finish up there. We'll have a look. What's he going to throw down the back? It's going to be a Stargate.
Yep.
And looking very, very similar still to how last game is, just playing out in opposite directions.
DT's just died, I think. I heard. Oh, 1 died.
One did die, and the rest of them look like...
yeah, it's always wise to send 1 DT in first, just to see if it will get detected, other than losing all of them at once.
Which is a smart move, and see here, just what's that? We're going to throw down another gateway, so that's going to be 3 gateways, a Robo, and a Stargate here for Alpha, our red Protoss player. And we have a look up here at Namakaye. He's got 3 gateways of his own and that robotic facility, but no Stargate for him, obviously, because he put that extra gas into his Dark Shrine and whatnot before. So what's the best thing that Namakaye can do here?
I think he needs, considering he's not building his own Stargate. Sorry, is that right?
I haven't seen. If you have a look, there's nothing up there in production.
Yeah. He probably needs to start getting Blink to defend from the Phoenix that Alpha's going to be building now. Otherwise, he'll just be running around with a few Stalkers, not being able to do much.
So you see, there's 1 Phoenix done already. Only the 1 Stargate, though.
Yeah.
Twilight Counts are going to go down as well, so I'm not sure what he's going to be doing with that one. He's building a little bit of everything. He's got the Robo, he's got Twilight Council, he's got a Stargate.
Yeah.
See down here, finally Namakaye is going to grab the gas on his natural expansion. You can see actually that the simulators over here for Alpha only just coming in now as well, so they're both going to want that extra gas as they do come into the rest of this game. And a Dark Shrine, do you think it's that?
It's alright. Namakaye is going for Zealot Archon. He could do an all-in build with this, as long as the Phoenix don't tear up his base. I'm not quite sure what he's going to do, but he could do a timing attack and probably beat Alpha, because Alpha's got nothing to hold off charge lots. He won't have enough Phoenix to pick up all of them, and he's only got a few Immortals.
Alright, so
Alpha supply blocked again.
he's supply blocked again, whilst Namakaye is the complete opposite, and he's gone out to 100 supply here. And you see 1, 2, 3 more gateways. That's going to bring it out to 6 gateways, I believe.
Yeah, definitely looks like a
Zealot charge. Yeah, so that's not necessarily a bad play, is it?
It's definitely not. He's just got to sort of start pushing out now before the Phoenix start coming across the map, and he has to turtle in his base, trying to defend from the Phoenix. But if he pushes that now, then the Phoenix can't come to his base, and Alpha will have to use the Phoenix for defense.
He will, because he has not really got much else. You see 2 cannons going to come down here, and obviously the Mothership Core with the Photon Overcharge is a possibility. Immortals up against Zealots, not so good. Immortals up against these few Stalkers should go pretty well.
Yeah.
But Phoenix just pumping them out only from the 1 Stargate though. We have a look. There's the 2nd Stargate going to go down. He's going to see all of them, so he knows they're there now. He knows what he is up against, and just in time as that idiot response, as soon as Alpha realizes that he's been found out, he's going to go down and take it 3rd straight away.
Yeah, so he's going to move out with his Phoenix, and then he's got map control, so he's allowed to take a 3rd, while Namakaye is going to have to defend here. Just missing that Warp Prism. So Namakaye's sent his Archons to his natural, and probably his Stalkers to his main to defend from the Phoenix. I'm surprised that he's not going for Blink now, considering he hasn't got any air units himself.
We have a look. We've got about a 10 probe advantage here for Alpha. 3 observers, so he's not taking any chances at all. A few Dark Templars and a bit of a mixture of an army. Here we go. This is going to go in there. I'm not sure if that's the best idea. Probably don't want to jump in there too early. We see the 3rd actually from Namakaye going to go down here now. Yeah. He obviously realizes he probably needs to catch up there. If we have a look, he doesn't actually know, so he probably thinks that he might be ahead here, or he was suspected perhaps that Alpha would have gone for one.
I think he's got a pretty good idea that Alpha's gone for his own. Alpha's not really hinting of a 2-base all-in, so it's got to be 2-base and expand with the Phoenix map control. Namakaye still hasn't done anything with his Warp Prism, which I'm surprised. He could probably do something, considering the Phoenix are on the other side of the map. He's obviously going to warp some Zealots in, then move in. The best time to attack is when Alpha is trying to harass with the Phoenix, which would be now, considering there wouldn't be anything in the main, and Namakaye can warp stuff into the 3rd and into the main.
These Phoenixes need to get out of here. Yeah. They're just in a world of trouble here. They need to move out, try and get around the side of the map. Dark Templars, though, looks like they've been dropped in here by Alpha, and is there an observer? They're just trying to keep an observer out there. That was his plan. He had an observer of his own in there, circling around, and he was trying to take down any observer and take down that 4th. But in the end, the observer of Namakaye will come through, and those Archons going to pick up the observer kill, and the Dark Templars going to go down as well. So 3-base versus 3-base. We're seeing a lot of macro here from both Protoss players in both games.
Well, once again, Alpha's ahead in the probe production, but also once again, Alpha's supply blocked.
Oh well, he's having a little bit of trouble with supply, but he does seem to be ahead every time. In any case, he's going to go in again with the. You see the exact same thing he tried before. This time he's going to leave the observer a little bit further apart. He goes in, and they do manage to pick up the Nexus there.
I definitely think this is brilliant play, and he's taking a 4th behind it.
It's been some really, really smart moves. Those 3 unit types working in together to take down the Nexus, take down that 3rd of Namakaye's, and it's really a pain. As you can see, his main just starting to get mined out here. Namakaye deciding that perhaps he doesn't want to be so far behind in the Stargate area, so he's going to throw down a few bit of long distance mining here as well, and things looking good for Alpha.
Yeah, Namakaye still, he's letting Alpha take all the map control, and he's just turtling while Alpha's just going into macro mode again, and he's already started Tempest, whereas Namakaye is only going into Void Ray Tech.
Void Ray Tech, even though he does obviously have this fleet beacon up the back here, so Going to use the Phoenix to see if he can pick anything off. Might be able to get this Mothership Core. He will get off the Mothership Core, but not before he does throw down that Photon Overcharge on his Nexus there, our blue Protoss Namakaye. Oh, he will seed. Nope, take one shot. There we go. Does see it in the end. Still long distance mining here to the third from Namakaye, whilst Alpha's sending C22 workers of 24. Obviously, a fair few going to come out now as he actually does push out with his army to try and just secure this fourth off a little bit. Army supply relatively, or supply in general, is looking pretty similar.
It is, but Alpha's invested in much higher tier units, which are going to be much more useful in a direct confrontation compared to Namakaye, who I think has just a lot of Zealot Archon. The Archons aren't that great because the air units can always just out-micro their Archons.
How does the Prismatic Beam upgrade go against Archons?
Well, it's probably... you got to make sure that all your Void Rays just aren't clumped up, otherwise the Archons can rip them to shreds. It's just all about unit positioning. So it can go either way in that case.
We'll take a quick look at upgrades while these guys keep macroing out. We'll see the moment they both have charge. Alpha does have Protoss Air level 1, Armor level 1, and ground level 1 and Air level 1.
That's another thing that's just going to absolutely help him in a direct confrontation, which he should be looking to do soon because he is maxed. He's just using the Phoenix now, just to get rid of them. He should just be doing any last damage and then killing them off and then investing his supply into something more useful to take out Tempest, which is more Tempest.
So there's a lot of Tempest here, but how do Tempests go up against Void Rays that are sitting on top of them?
It depends if the Void Rays are directly attacking the Tempest. In this case, there's a lot of meat shield for the Tempest, such as the Archons and Zealots, which will prevent the Void Rays from getting any close. So Namakaye is actually looking a lot better in this unit composition, and even though he's not ahead in upgrades, I definitely think he'll take this battle that I think that's about to happen.
Should be pretty good, and he is going to force this battle as he does start making his way down towards what is the fourth base of Alpha. Alpha actually taking a fifth up here as well, but he's got no one up there mining at the moment, but his main is completely mined out or thereabouts, and this should be a pretty good confrontation if we see. We will, as Alpha does push out here. Void Ray's going to go in. Those Void Rays going to go in, and they're actually attacking.
So if all those Archons just start focusing on those Void Rays right now, Namakaye is going to be in a very good position. And Namakaye is focusing the Tempest, which is exactly what he needs to do, and it's the reason why he's taking this fight. He needs to be very careful though not just to lose them to the Stalks and Cannons. I'm surprised that Namakaye still doesn't have Blink, as it would be very useful for blinking and taking out those last Tempests standing there. Oh, he does, sorry.
Blink and three observers. Three observers not going to do much up against the Tempest though.
So there's DTs now, and Namakaye actually has no pylon anywhere near his army, so he's got nothing to reinforce this.
So these DTs are going to harass into the Stalkers. The Stalkers could theoretically run away if they wanted to, but we're going to lose probably 2/3 of them there. We do have our Tempest, and they're going to harass into the mineral line here of this fourth base of Alphas, so that's not ideal for him, but that should put him back at 3 bases apiece, and Namakaye's been so far behind on production for the rest of the game.
Got to be very careful, there's nothing out here protecting the Tempest.
Stalkers now coming in, but we'll see what's going to go on here. This might be the end of it. I suspect Namakaye should be able to clean this up here. He's again targeting that enemy Tempest and gaining the advantage. 118 supply up against 84. Let's have a look at our units. We have both sitting on 58 probes, so the discrepancy in terms of army supply even going to be entirely in their army here. So
you can still see how fragile those Tempests are against Stalkers if there's just nothing else under them to tank the damage. They're not very good by themselves, even if there are a lot of blink Stalkers.
Seems to be pretty much all that Namakaye is building though, apart from, well, now he doesn't even seem to be building Stalkers. There's a couple of Zealots. He's just hoping that he can take out here and harass Alpha.
So now that he's got the Tempest lead, and he needs to just probably, if he's got enough gateways, just keep producing Stalkers, and he could push in and win this because there's nothing else. There's nothing else that can take out the Tempest.
It is an awful lot of Tempers here. We will see the Stalkers, they should be able to come in and blink underneath them, but if they spend their entire time shooting at Tempest, they're still going to lose out to the rest of the Namakaye's army. So I think it's just a losing battle here, and it's only a matter of time until Namakaye does get the GG from Alpha. He will take out this 4th base very, very shortly by the looks of things. Only 2 Tempers here from Alpha. There's about a 60 supply difference as well. So even though he's attempting, perhaps if he knew how far behind he was, do you think he would leave?
I don't think Alpha's got much of a chance now. He can't actually do anything to kill the 12 Tempest. He's basically lost his game due to unit composition. Namakaye just had the perfect Archon Tempest versus Void Ray Tempest. And the Archons could do a lot more damage to pump up Void Rays, which is exactly what happened. So I don't even think it's worth microing the Tempest to shoot back and attack in these situations, because they do so little damage to the Stalkers that it's worth keeping them alive than losing them, as we can see here.
He is losing quite a number. Alpha actually decides he doesn't want to be in this battle anymore, and he turns around and heads away.
I definitely think Namakaye needs to take a 4th base right now. You can't stay on 3 base forever.
Well, he's staying on 1 base really by the looks of things. He's mined out in his main.
Yeah.
He's practically mined out in his natural, so he's really on 1 base here, and he's just hoping that he can finish it off with this army, which might be a possibility, but you don't, it is a risk that he is taking. He could theoretically find himself a way to get further ahead here, but instead he just wants to push the advantage that he has and try and clean up.
I just don't think Alpha's got any units in order to be able to take this out. Even the Zealots can go through and they can do enough to take out those Stalkers.
And here's another base going to go down here for Namakaye, so that should secure his lead and shore up his win.
Yeah, the game's basically over now. 80 supply to 155. And we're just waiting on the GG now.
That Tempest, that does a lot of damage versus massive units, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's got 2 different attacks on it. So if you go to, that's what it does to ground units, and then against that's what it does to air. So that's massive, but that's only massive air.
Massive air, which is pretty much itself.
So it only really counters for Protoss carriers, the full upgraded mothership, and Tempest themselves.
That's one thing we haven't seen in any motherships so far today. It's a little bit disappointing.
Oh, we saw a few in the other game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, last game.
Motherships?
Yeah, oh, sorry, not motherships. Yeah, sorry.
Carriers, motherships. Yeah, haven't seen much of either up until recently. And,
upgrading into the full mothership just isn't really worth the supply. It's just better to get another Tempest or carrier. And the only advantage you get out of doing it is that it has a lot more health and can't be sniped very easily in the late game, whereas because of how little health it has in late game, it can get sniped easily due to high tier units.
So Namakaye looks like he's just waiting until he's maxed out again, and he should be able to clean this one up. It's just a matter of time.
I think he doesn't realize how far Alpha is behind. He just needs to basically A-move his army to win the game.
He basically does, because you see here, this base is mined out. Yep. Obviously his main is mined out, so he's only working off his 3rd here. Namakaye obviously going to have his new 4th base and his 3rd, which is still going strong considering how much effort Alpha went to actually keep him from mining that 3rd base. So there's still plenty of minerals down there. There's very little that Alpha can do here. He is starting. He's got a lot of void rays. I'll give him that much. He does have a lot of void rays.
He does. If he can keep producing void rays, they can beat the Tempest, but the problem is he's only doing it on 1 base, and Namakaye can outproduce Tempest to void rays quicker, which will just lose in the game in the end.
It is, although none of these ground units can attack up into those void rays, but
even if the void rays start miss-microing just due to AI and start attacking ground units, that's another thing that the Tempest will just dominate over the void rays.
If only he had just a few more, five more void rays.
Yeah, I still don't think it's enough.
There are a lot of Tempests in there.
Tempests have a lot of health. So we're going to see the final engagement now.
They are absolutely going to start ripping into these Tempests, but just the sheer number of Tempests, and then even with that little damage against the non-massive units.
You saw the void rays just attacking the Zealots for half a second, and the Tempest take out another 5 void rays, and that's basically it.
GG is out. So that's the first game that we've actually seen so far that's been that has been a 2-0 victory, is 1 each, and we'll be back very, very shortly with the next PvP game in this best of 3. See who can take it out between MGG Alpha and RV's Namakaye. Alright guys, we are back for this final game in our best of 3 PvP in our losers bracket here at GGF LAN in Brisbane. I'm Sam, I'm here with Michael, or as you call yourself?
Zormator.
Zormator, that's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
That is a pretty good name. So we're here, we have our PvP battle. Up in our top right we do have Namakaye in the pink, and down in the bottom right we have Alpha in the red, and the last 2 games have been pretty good. They've both gone out to 4+ bases aside, and
I'm very surprised that neither player has actually done for a 1 base all in yet, and neither of them are confident enough in doing that.
Well, it seems to they wanted to try it. They wanted to throw in some DTs or something, see if they can finish it off quickly.
They're just trying to do harass and then expand behind it to try and get a economy lead in a major way. I'm not sure what's going to happen this game. This is in Toon Valley, so it's not in the map pool anymore. I haven't seen any game on this since HotS. It just used to be a great macro game. This probably was the best place to macro for Protoss versus Protoss in Wings of Liberty, where you would see the World of War Colossus battles.
Well, I guess they does have that narrow sort of ramp as well, so you can easy to stop that 4-gate aggression if you need to as well.
You can stop any sort of aggression. Even like Phoenix weren't that good, just because in a 2-base scenario is how easy it is to defend. I think my favorite build on this map for the last part of Wings of Liberty was just doing 1-base Colossus all-ins, because you can control that natural ramp so much.
So we see Alpha's going to go out here, and he's obviously just going to grab his Cybercore. Cybercore going to go down up the back though for Namakaye. I was wondering if he's going to put in anything interesting there. Hasn't taken the gas though.
Yeah, so Alpha tried to take the gas, but Namakaye had his probe on hold position, and if it's close enough to the assimilator, then Alpha can't build an assimilator on there.
Because it's taking up the spot.
Yeah, it's taking up the spot basically, and Alpha did some poor micro there and lost his probe, which is tremendously bad.
That's an interesting tactic. I didn't know that you could just chuck that. Is that on every assimilator in every map? You can do that?
So if you hold position your probe, or what you could do even more, if you're trying to stop your opponent from building their second gas, is to run your probe around the assimilator, so it's not even being attacked, and it'll continuously block the assimilator until
someone gets rid of it.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That is very tricky. So Alpha has sent one of his probes up here. Not sure what we're going to do. This is an interesting place to proxy.
I definitely think it's going to be looking like a...
Well, could you put up there a Stargate or something, or you just put a pylon?
He's
or
building a Twilight Council now, so it could just be there for the proxy pylon, or it could be there for the Dark Shrine. We'll have to find out.
We will find out sooner rather than later. Obviously, 2 gas in, 2 gas even down here for Alpha. And if we have a look over for our Pink Protoss Namakaye, he's got 2 gas as well, and he's pumping out Stalkers at the moment. So
Yep.
2 gates with a bit of a Stalker aggression just to see what he can see. See, this pylon is going to go down here, and the probe does seem to be disappearing. So probably if he's going to build a Dark Shrine, it's going to go down the bottom somewhere and use that perhaps to warp in.
Yeah. So Namakaye's definitely going to go put some pressure on now. His warp gate research is very close as well. It almost looks like I'm not quite sure what either of them are going to do now. But both of them are looking to put on pressure immediately.
So this is 3 Stalker into Twilight Council even, so no Robo. Going to go perhaps for some Blink play. You see the Blink is coming out here.
So Namakaye is definitely not looking good for this game because Alpha's almost got a Dark Shrine. And
that's going to be up, and that's going to be GG as soon as that comes through if he hasn't got anything there.
Namakaye's not going to be able to put any pressure because Alpha's going to have a Nexus charge, which will delay it a lot more than long enough to get the D2 Shrine up,
which
as we can see here.
Absolutely. And that's what you've got to be careful of as soon as that...
So all he needs to do now is just walk in DTs to run into the main of Namakaye. Not sure if... Did Namakaye spot the Dark Shrine though? Can we have a look at that? Yeah, he did.
He did see it.
So he's instantly popped down a Robo. And he's not going to have the obs in time.
He's not going to have an observer in time.
He needs to have a sentry at the ramp to try and block out the DTs. And he's got no idea about.
He's not going to be able to do this. Yeah, they're going to come on through here, and they are going to be able to get rid of this Robo.
So we'll see how long it takes him to realise that they're in his base.
Oh, they blocked them.
Position.
So that's going to delay a little bit more.
Only a little bit though.
I don't know if that's going to be enough. They do get through now. He's not sure where the Robo actually is. He will now see it. Now, this is going to come down to Micro and whether Namakaye can block these off. He's not. And he's going to... this might come out. This
is GG, basically. There's nothing to detect, and that's easily going to go down in time.
Very close, but you are right. Last swipe's going to be through, and that should be the end of the game. Forge going to come down there, hoping that he can do something, but he's just going to... What's he going to do? Start eating into these probes. He's looking around. He's seeing if there's any way he could potentially lose this game. Which obviously would be a Forge and a Cannon.
His only option is to try and go and counter-attack, but Alpha can just Nexus overcharge again or just walk in a 2 or more DTs to defend it. He's not going to have a Nexus charge in time. The problem is Namakaye's got no economy. Yeah, so 1 DT, that'll just win in the game.
And that should be it. As soon as he cleans this up,
he
just
sends his probe so that the Stalks can't move. If he does that, then they're all that's game over.
See, he's targeting the Dark Shrine here, but it's not gonna really make a difference, I don't think. Even if you get rid of it, obviously it'll stop your warp in. But you can see he's completely out of probes. Where are they? Was he hitting them? He's trying to build a Robo down here. He's run out of probes. He's got nothing. He's going to run away with the last little bit, and that should be it. Down to 14 supply, up against basically 60 supply here, and it's just a matter of GG, and there it goes. So Alpha will be progressing through to the next stage of this tournament.
Will be versing me.
Versing you, so that should be another PvP, won't it?
And we definitely won't be seeing any game go that long.
You're very confident, very confident.
Give me the death stare now.
Thank you very much for casting, and we look forward to seeing your games very, very shortly up against Alpha. Good luck.
Thank you.